It's time for another episode of Suburban Sex. We're tired moms and horny dads, and we try to give our listeners a fresh perspective. And by popular request, winter is back. Or, as we more popularly say, winter is coming.
Yay, winter!
Ooh, very excited to be back. As always.
And how many times is winter coming?
Well, I will say most recently it was 37 until he lost count.
Shut the front door.
No.
Yes.
No.
Are these like mini orgasms? I mean, like where you
No.
can't even tell? Like, oh, that's one.
No,
Two,
he
three.
can
Yeah.
he can tell. But
Ron Burgundy's push-ups, you know?
but I will say, like, it's different. Like, and again, like, sex for me post-marriage is very different than it was when I was married. And I think it's being comfortable in my body, being comfortable with who I am, knowing what I want and how I want, and being willing to take charge if I need to. And like this, like, trust me, it is not 37 all the time. Like, girl, like, I wish, but
I know.
for some reason with this particular person, it's unreal. Like, it's somehow like everything just matches up where it needs to match up.
Are these full orgasms?
Yeah, like I will have like little minis, like smaller, and most of them are from P&V sex. Some can
Wait,
what?
Sorry,
P&V.
time out. Penis and vagina?
Yes, penis and vagina sex.
Oh my god!
Good job, Addie knows.
Yay!
You mean sex?
I mean,
yes, normal sex.
Normal.
P&V.
Hetero sex.
Not P and
I
A,
mean,
but P
you
and
can put
V.
that P in a lot of places.
Brad.
There's a lot of holes. But yes, so some are smaller, like the big ones are definitely like less frequent. That might be a kind of a handful of times during that.
Damn.
What's this guy doing?
I don't like.
That's so
honestly,
amazing.
Him on the podcast
oh my gosh,
too?
right? The first time he went down on me, like, I came in like the first 10 seconds, which I don't think has ever happened. Like, I gave the man a high five. I was like, achievement unlocked, sir. No one has ever done that.
Oh my god.
So I don't.
Was there just a massive amount of buildup, or what?
There was
seconds?
with that. Like, we had been having sex, and there was some foreplay and things like leading, and then he took a little break to go downtown, and yeah, just did it very well. Like, I don't know what it is. I honestly, I've told him, I'm like, we're gonna ruin future sex with anybody.
Right.
Like, it's and I'm kind of waiting. I'm kind of waiting for like the crazy to drop, because a lot of times, like, really good sex, like crazy sex, is really good sex. I was like, where's your red flag? Like, what's hiding? There has to be something. But yeah, I don't know. And then I sat on his face the other day and almost drowned him. Almost drowned the poor man. And I was like, sorry,
so
not sorry.
In that phrase, is there like a safe squeeze? I mean, I guess you can't have a safe word.
I kind of like, just kind of like moved me to the side so he could breathe.
That's important.
And yeah, I was like,
What's this guy doing, man? I need some tips.
Listen,
come on.
I mean, it's such a big part, and I think
I listen.
Poor Brad.
I will say, like, I've had some partners who have not been very, like, experienced. Maybe, most men I've dated are divorced, and maybe married a high school sweetheart, or married, like their body count is very low.
Right.
And there's been times where like I know that, like they've shared that, but then I'm just like, how are you so good at what you're doing? And they all just really pay attention. Like they're just very in tune with me and my body and how I'm responding, as well as like the verbal cues that I'm giving. Because I do not hold back. I'm like, yeah, like I will direct.
Yeah.
I'm a little loud.
Now, were you always that way, where you were so vocal, or is this a new confidence that's happened more recently?
Yeah, I would say it's a newer thing. Again, my married life sex is very different than my divorced sex. But I think it's, again, I'm a very different person. I'm very confident in myself and my body, and like I love my body, and I know my body is not for everybody, and that's okay.
And you enjoy sitting on a man's face.
I do.
Brad's dream for
But
me.
again, it's
Brad.
I've had 4 years of therapy and a lot of sex to get here. Like I know it's not easy. It's not, what I'm saying is not an easy thing to achieve for a lot of women.
Easy for me.
But you didn't grow a human. You didn't grow a human.
That's true.
And have
You didn't grow 3 of
9
them.
months of like not being in control of your body and just becoming this totally different person and losing your identity.
Yes.
And it's really hard. It's really hard to get back for a lot of women. And
it's hard to sit on a guy's face. Is what you're saying.
You also do not. I can send a link. You don't need to like 2-knee it. You can like keep one leg. There's lots of ways to do it.
Oh, hey, send us a link. We'll add that. We'll add that to the show notes. Oh my god!
And don't be afraid of suffocating them. Like if they're gonna die,
yeah, Addie,
had that man die?
Don't be afraid.
Come on, had he drowned? What a way to go! What a way to go!
So happy.
Tell me, Brad and Remy, would you be upset to go that way?
Oh, that's my dream.
But like, so guys, with that, do you want to hover? Do you want the pressure on the face? Like, I think that's sometimes what's really hard for us, is like we don't know where to go. We don't know how much
we have our whole body weight
to put on you.
Yeah. I feel self-conscious with my body weight on you.
Definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No.
We're afraid to crush
Ladies,
you.
don't.
We're afraid to crush you.
We just need safe squeezes, and just to know if I squeeze your legs, it's too much. But
I mean, that kind of.
I haven't had that
again.
issue,
That kind of goes back to what we talked about before. Setting those boundaries, saying like, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know if it's too much, or I can't breathe, or I'm gonna die.
I don't know. I haven't had that issue though, so I don't
That's
know.
fantastic.
What do you mean?
That's fantastic.
Because you've got it down. You've got it. You don't have that issue because, like, you guys have already figured it out.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe she just knows not to put too much pressure. But I've just never had the issue of suffocation.
Yeah,
you haven't been drowned.
Remy,
no, I'll avoid that.
Is that a?
You're doing it.
Is that a
right.
occasional thing with y'all?
Sometimes it's it's fun, just every now and again.
See, I think if you're the kind of guy who wants a girl to sit on your face, you're not going to complain about pressure and grinding and blah 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 blah. We just want that thing on our face,
Yeah.
But
you don't have to worry, ladies. If we're asking for it, just do whatever feels good.
Communicate that to us
That's
by
true.
saying that.
Yeah.
Get up there and grind it. Whatever.
We need to hear it.
Yeah.
Because we're not
Yeah.
sure. We're afraid we're gonna kill you.
Yeah, we don't know.
We're
Right.
we're
Please.
millennials. We grew up like being fat shamed our whole life. Like we're scared to sit on your face.
I know.
This is a modern day world. Here's a waiver. It's real
Exactly.
sexy.
Sign this waiver.
Talk
Yeah.
about it and say like, this is too much. This is just right. Like I want that. Like, you know, because most of that experience. Let's be real. Like the fact that I drowned that man again talks to his skills. But like a lot of times, like it doesn't do a lot for me. It does more for the guy.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
in that instance, you need to tell me what you want and how you
Mhm.
want it.
See,
Oh, I see.
it doesn't do a lot for her though. Brad, did you hear that?
But I'm
See?
gonna
Well,
do it
you
for
said
More
he
for
was
the
good at
guy.
it.
Yes, with this person, but with a lot of other times, because I could give so many examples of like, this doesn't do it for me, but with this person or in this instant, it did. And so
Yeah.
with this person in this instant, it definitely did something for me. It did a lot.
Right.
But most of the time, it's something I'm doing for my partner because I know they really enjoy it,
Mhm.
and I know they're gonna get a lot
Okay.
more out of it than what I'm gonna get out of it in that moment. Like, I love a guy going downtown. I prefer to not be sitting on his face while he does it,
I know. Same.
but that's just me.
Same. Yep. I'm gonna have to learn to like play around with
I'll
that because
send you the
Brad is
video.
intently listening. Yeah.
He's taking notes.
He's
I'm
real
listening.
close for our listeners. He's real close to the microphone. Like he wants to say so much. He just wants to say the right things though that will convince me to sit on his face, and that's not happening
That's where
as much as he wants.
just do it because you know, and you don't have to do it for long.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Let
trying.
him let him
He's
get a
trying.
little bit of what he wants, and then grab him and roll
Yeah.
him over, and get him on top
There
of
you
you.
go. There you go.
Push his head
Just
down.
like a little,
Like,
just a little. Yeah.
all right, you got what you
Oop.
got. Now it's time for me to get what I want.
My turn.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
about back and forth.
Okay.
Back and forth.
I like that. I like
Just
that.
lead with that.
Mm.
That can be Brad's foreplay.
I know, right? I think so. What some of our listeners have requested is how the whole unicorn and or group sex, like
Mhm.
adding an extra player
Mhm.
into the mix. Many of our listeners are vanilla, like we are, but there's always that fantasy element. And I think there's something to that may continue to be a fantasy, but just hearing about how it works in real life could add to the fantasy.
Mhm.
Or maybe it becomes something that they talk about and make part of their lifestyle
Mhm.
overall. But I know the boys and I are curious about how some of that works out. And is there an app for that?
There is an app for everything. Let me tell
Yeah, I
you, there
bet.
is an app for everything.
Mhm.
And for that specific, and it's a recent discovery for me, is an app called Field, FEELD.
Okay.
And it is mainly geared towards kind of lifestyle, swinging, polyamory, ethical non-monogamy, all those like alternative
Whoa.
lifestyle
That's a
things.
lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And we can go
Ethical,
all through
okay.
those.
All right. I needed a minute to hear that again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ethical or
Yeah.
consensual non-monogamy.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
kind of the thing.
How is that not swinging lifestyle? Like, how is that any different? What is the difference?
So a lot of times when you are pursuing a non-monogamous relationship, swinging typically there's not a relationship to it. Whereas with
Okay.
polyamory or ethical E&M is what's called, there can be a relationship to it.
Oh, okay.
Typically, like swinging is just, and you might have partners that you see regularly with swinging. But yeah, typically swinging is a little more just about the sex piece as opposed to an emotional relationship piece.
Oh,
Yeah. And swinging can turn into polyamory
Sure.
or an E&M type relationship.
Okay. And where has your experience fallen within this
I have done
grouping?
a little bit of all of it. Again,
Twice?
way more
'Cause
than
what
twice.
is your You'll try anything at least
way
twice?
more than twice. I sometimes joke that I am like a lifestyle doula within some of my friend groups, because I've taken many a friend to a swingers club, or introduced them to those things, and talked about those things, because again, it's I enjoy talking about sex, and I enjoy talking about, the things that you don't necessarily find normal, right?
Right.
Quotation marks with that normal. It's again, don't yuck on someone's yum. There's so many types of relationships out there, and you've got to find what works for you.
So let's hear a little bit more about one of these.
Definitely.
So maybe unicorn, I feel like, is something that is a term that I learned very recently.
Yeah, and unicorn is definitely in the swingers community.
Okay.
Very, very big on that. Unicorn is a single woman willing to hook up with a couple.
And a couple is seeking that out. So the man and woman decide, we'd like to have a third. We want her to be a woman. We want to, like, do they get to know you? Like, how does this all happen?
A lot of times it's again, we talked last time about there being kind of vanilla meetups, or sometimes you might go to a swingers club, and most swingers.
That is a whole nother world for me, by the way.
We can delve,
like, saying swingers club is
delve
like,
way more into
what?
that. But a lot of the clubs have, one, like their BYOB, because sex is happening on premises. There's a bar, there's a dance floor, there's places to meet people, and so some people don't hook up at the clubs. Some people, there's so many rules around it, and again, it's having those conversations and deciding what your boundaries are. And especially if you are doing swinging, or you're doing polyamory or E&M type relationship, it's checking in with that person after, so that they can say, I was okay with this, I wasn't okay with that, I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling insecure, I'm good, whatever it might be. But I will say the unicorn situation, or a couple with a single female, is probably the most sought after. That is why they are called unicorns, right? Because that is typically how a couple is dipping their toes into a lifestyle type situation, right? And let's be real. Come on, Brad and Remy. Like, you're gonna turn down two women? Right?
Yeah.
No. You're gonna turn down that opportunity? It's every man's sexual fantasy.
Now, is it typical to be with both, or is sometimes it just the lady, or how does it work, or is it any of the above?
Again, I would say if you are looking to explore that, you have a conversation with your partner of what you're okay with and what you're not okay with.
Your experience, though, how often have you been with a couple, if I may ask, and what happened in that situation, if you're willing to share?
So I'll say, like, my most common is I had a friend, one very particular about the women that I do anything with sexually. I am a bit of a pillow princess, which might be different than what you were using. And so in this situation,
calls me that all the time.
A pillow princess is when a woman is not going to engage sexually with the other woman.
Okay.
I am of the team, and this is my favorite question to ask the men. Actually, I'm going to ask you guys this first
Ooh.
before I start.
Do
Hey
it.
now.
Is getting head getting head? Is
What?
getting head? Does it matter who does it?
What?
Does it matter who is giving you a blowjob?
Certainly. I mean, it's going to
Man,
be different if
woman,
you don't know the person.
does it matter? Does
Yeah.
it matter who's giving?
Just anybody.
Is it, as long as it's a good blowjob? Do you care who is sucking your
I
dick?
think,
And what if you can't see who's
yeah.
sucking your dick?
Oh.
What if you don't know?
I
It's getting head.
well, if I don't know, then I can't turn it down. But
or if you
I
have,
think most
if you have
guys,
your, your every couple has their list, right? Like your freebie list.
Right.
Is there a
Right.
man on that list that you're like, he could suck my dick and I wouldn't care?
no.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't think any guy's gonna go into a situation saying, "Yeah, I
Right.
put the guy on the list of mouths that can." No, but I'm sorry. I'm confused why you're asking that question.
So I am team getting head is getting head. I don't care who goes down on me.
Okay.
I don't care who fucks me.
You mean male or female?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
gender they might be. Are they good at what they are doing?
Right. So that's for you. Whoever comes to me, it doesn't matter. But like, would you be able to give head to either or?
So
and enjoy
again,
it?
it's the friend that she and I most often played together. She was my person. If I needed a third, she was who I called.
Okay.
Neither of us really did more than like boob play and making out. Like those were our boundaries. So again, it's establishing the boundaries. Is your partner hetero flexible? Like I might be willing to do this sexually with a woman in this situation, but otherwise, I'm not attracted to women. I don't want to date a woman. I don't want to do anything sexually with a woman.
Right.
Or is she bi-curious?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Addie is straight unless Megan Fox is between her legs, right? I mean that's
probably true. Yeah.
That's
y'all have seen.
That's probably most women.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
So again, it's having that conversation of like, okay, we're gonna go out with the purpose of meeting another woman, and then deciding where are those boundaries. I'm okay with boob play and making out with her. I don't want to do anything else with her. I don't want her doing anything else to me. I don't want her having sex with you, Brad. I'm okay if she gives you a blowjob.
Me? I haven't even met her.
Winter
again.
Winter has set our boundaries, baby. Winter has set our boundaries.
And Brad's like, I don't even know who the person is, baby. I don't even know. I was never there.
Like,
I'm gonna need to see a picture first.
I was never introduced. I wasn't even in the room, baby.
And Hattie's like, you were. But yeah, so it's having those conversations. You've got to set those boundaries ahead of time, and you have to communicate that then with that partner. Like, hey, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with you doing this to me. I'm okay with you doing this to my partner. And drawing those lines.
Right, because I feel like I can be very jealous. And Brad doesn't see it very much because we're not in those situations where any of that could cross a line. But I feel like we would absolutely have to set those boundaries in advance. I think he wouldn't mind me having some playtime with a girl. And I'm similar with you, Winter. I know, like every guy's dream, yeah. But I would also have boundaries there too, because I'm not really interested in much, below the waist. So above the waist would be like, all right, that's fine, whatever. But but otherwise, if someone is like touching on him and whatnot, I think I'd have troubles with it. So I don't know if I could like do a true unicorn
Mhm.
situation, but I think it's interesting that you even have had those boundaries with the girl
Yeah.
of I'm only going to go this far. I kind of expected it to be like all the way for
Yeah.
everyone.
Even in swinging, so there's some people that like
Yeah.
will only do same room, right? Like you can sleep with
Mm.
my husband, but we're gonna be in the same room.
Oh
Or we're
God.
not gonna have sex. We might do oral. Like there's soft swaps, there's full swaps, there's y'all can go on your own and have sex without me there. I don't care. You know, it's
Okay.
again drawing those boundaries and being very clear
Yeah.
about what you're okay with and what you're not okay with.
Winter, what is your preference?
I don't know that I have a preference. I think again in kind of exploring things in the past few years, since my divorce, I lean a little in the poly. Like I don't think that any one person can fulfill all my needs.
Mm.
And I think
Okay.
that's
So, can I ask this very personal question? Do you consider yourself not straight or like bi or
I don't
like
know.
But
I
if
think
if
it's
she said she doesn't really want to like go down on a girl,
but
I don't know. I feel
but
like
so then
that's
that's the thing is I have gone down on women.
okay. Okay.
I'm very
But it's not your
particular.
preference.
I'm very,
Yeah.
very particular.
she's got to be super hot and
Yeah.
then you're bi?
Again, it's
That's like Addie too. She's only bi with hot
for Megan
girls.
Fox.
What are you talking
What
about?
is it? It's not the label, it's the wine. Like for me, even I know Addie has been like she's joked like my type is must have beard, right? Because like a lot of times I
Yes.
don't feel like I have a type. Like none of the men I have dated have really like fallen into certain categories. Like it's
She loves
I
men with
do love a
beards.
man with beard.
Loves
What?
them. Yes, she
Must
loves
have
men with
beard.
beards.
I love some
Yeah.
facial hair. But
Yeah.
I don't want the mountain man. Like it's got to be a nice.
Yeah, not like
Yeah, it's got to be
long, but he's got to be
yeah.
scruffy. He's got to have
Sure.
some
It's
scruff
no
to
Duck
him.
No,
Dynasty with the beard
that is
coming
like a
down.
huge
No.
turn off.
No. But man, this girl,
I
like
love a beard.
anytime she shows us a picture of a guy, we're like, yeah,
Must
because
be-
it's a beard.
must have beard.
There's a beard on that
Really?
picture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But even
A
then,
beard.
it's much more about the vibes I have with that person. And like
Mhm.
I have to meet them. Like one, like the vibes have to be there via conversation, and then when I meet them in person, they have to be there. And I've had times where like great
Right.
conversation in person, like it's not not gonna
Yeah.
happen. And I am like that with women even more so than I am with men. That's probably
Right.
something I need to talk to my therapist about. But that I am pickier with my women than I am with men. Talk about some red flags.
Oh.
What is your requirement for a lady that you're gonna vibe with?
I don't know.
Is there anything that, if it's not a requirement, what's something that's a turn on for you?
I think confidence.
Okay.
Confidence is a big thing.
It's
Mhm.
not like piercings or
No,
tattoos
I
or a
am
certain hairstyle.
very like one. It's the eyes. I look at people's eyes. If because dating apps are so superficial, right? It's do you like their pictures?
Yeah.
But even meeting someone in person, like they need to be putting off like a vibe that I feel open to. A lot of times, eyes. I don't know why eyes turn me on. A smile. Um, and then yeah, it's the like conversation and how we're getting along and sense of humor
Mhm.
and kind of those types of things.
So no physical thing like boobs
Mm-hmm.
or hair color or anything like that.
I like more
I think
feminine
that's a
women.
female thing.
I like more feminine women than
Okay.
I do. Like I'm not going for like a more masculine type of woman. but I also don't want
Yeah.
like overdone woman. I want kind of like me. Like I want girl next door. I want someone real and
Right.
someone casual and chill and like can laugh at
Mhm.
themselves
And so for
Right.
guys, you're about the
the
bearded,
bearded
like
vibes.
masculine.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I mean,
Yeah,
Well,
I've hooked up with like men, like with like there was a guy, his name was Abs in the friend group, like Abs, and I have
Mhm.
dated dad
Mhm.
bods and like everything kind of in between, short guys, tall guys, really hasn't mattered aside from
Yeah.
facial hair.
Yeah. So thinking more on, if Brad and I were interested in something like this, okay? So Brad,
I
don't get
know.
too excited. I know. But, for our listeners as well. If we were talking about it enough and made it we wanted to take it further than the fantasy that maybe we were already talking about, and hey, let's take it to the next level. What would that look like? And Winter, as a true unicorn, and again, that's like a newish term for me. I don't know what that looks
Yeah.
like. And again, not that we're looking for this. I think some of our friends may be like, wait, what? They do what? We're not. I'm just kind of curious from like any of our listeners, if this was something that they're interested in, like what would that look like? And I joked, is there an app for that? We know there's an app for everything, but like, are you dating the couple? Are you, do you meet up at Panera Bread like your other
all of
groups do? Like what is that?
all of the above, all of the above, Addie. Yeah.
Really?
So one thing I do really like about the Field app is that you can also link your partner. And
Okay.
so you can match with the man or the woman. You can read about both. You can say, this, we are a couple, this is what we're looking for. It's
Oh,
very,
wow.
so again, what I like about lifestyle kink stuff is that it's very open. Like these are people
Yeah.
that talk about sex and they talk about their wants and they talk about their desires. And they've built a community around that accepts that and is open to it. And
Mhm.
it's very, very consensual. Like it is,
Okay.
especially if
Yeah.
you go to a club or something, it is extremely consensual. And so I really appreciate that and I really like it. And so
Mhm.
you can do it via this app. You could go on to FetLife. There are Facebook groups. There are message boards. You can get on Reddit. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Facebook
there's
groups.
Facebook
I
groups.
figured the Zuck would put a stop to all
Facebook
that.
groups are anything. People create like alternative profiles, right? Because like they're not putting like I'm Winter so and so, and here's my kids and my like my whole family. Right? They
Right.
Yeah.
create their own a
Right.
separate profile for it. But again,
Okay.
there's the
Okay.
communities that are out there, and maybe it's just going to a meetup. Like I get invited to happy hours for swingers, and it's just
Okay.
again like-minded people. You're going to see who you're interested in or not interested in, or maybe you've got questions about it and want more
Mhm.
information. And again, people are willing to share. Um,
Right.
it's very like that community. Um,
Right. But you can go to a meetup, you have a happy hour, and you walk right on
yeah,
away.
you don't have
Like
to
you
do
could
anything.
go just to ask
You don't have to do
questions.
anything.
Okay.
You can go to a swingers club and do nothing.
Yeah.
You can watch if you're into watching. You can
Yeah, some people
participate.
are.
Like
Yeah.
most
Mhm.
clubs too, like they have private rooms. You could hook up with your partner in a private room. Just be like, we had
Yeah.
sex in a sex club, right? Like,
Oh, Brad wants me to have sex in a public space so
yeah.
badly. Do we need to go to a sex club, honey?
Tell me more.
He's like, hey, what day is your calendar clear? I will get a sitter.
Send me the
Sure.
address.
There are, I mean, they are everywhere. Just Google
Yeah.
Swingers Club, your city.
Are you
Yeah.
serious? Are you
Yeah.
serious? You can Google
Google it.
that?
Google Swingers Club, your
Oh
city.
my.
Swingers Meetup, your city. Go to Reddit, follow Swingers. There's probably subreddits again
What?
for your city.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
there's communities of these people out there. And again, they're your
Yeah.
normal everyday people. Like it's not
These
Right.
people walk
They
amongst
do.
you.
They do. And they're just
They might be the kindergarten teacher we're
for
talking
sure.
to.
They're just not yucking on someone else's yum, right? Like they have
Right.
found something that
Yeah.
works for them. And that's
Mhm.
okay. You know, it
Right.
might not be
That's so interesting.
what has been normalized in society, but it works for them.
Mhm.
And I think that's such an important thing. I think so many people are trying to solve issues in their marriage by opening their relationship, bringing someone new in,
Mhm.
having a baby, right? Like none
Right.
of those things are going to save you.
That's not gonna
Not going to
work.
work. And I
Yeah.
think that's where a lot of lifestyle things get such a bad rap is because
Mhm.
the people that aren't successful in it are who we hear about, and the people that are
Yeah.
successful aren't talking about it because it's not normalized.
Right. Right. And they're still doing it well for
Exactly, because they have that
in their
strong
underground.
foundation of trust
Mhm.
and communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so
So, what do
interesting.
you suggest in terms of, for bringing it back to people in long term relationships, in terms of starting conversations and having the right communication? Because I just want to bring it back on what we can learn, because you've learned
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
much in your experience. And I love it just to see like how much confidence you've
Mhm.
gained more than anything. I mean, it's just amazing to hear. You know what you want, and you're very, very upfront about it, which is
Mhm.
it's
And
pretty
I mean,
refreshing. I mean, it's awesome just to
it puts
see.
off a lot of
Yeah.
men. Like I won't lie. Like it's kind of that big dick energy that I bring to the table, but it's I I am being true to who I am. And again, a lot of
Mhm.
therapy. And this is not
Yeah.
easy to get to, but I can tell you it
Mhm.
is so wonderful when you get there. I
Mhm.
truly believe in being my authentic self, and I'm not going to hold back who I am or what I want or my past experiences. And if you're
Right.
not okay with that, you're not the person for me. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. So it's
Mhm.
very different, and I think it will play into a future relationship very differently than it did in my marriage. But
Right.
I think for existing couples, it's again opening the door to those conversations, taking a quiz
Mhm.
and seeing what you're okay with or not okay with, setting boundaries around those things, going to a meetup, attending a class online, doing some research online. It's those little nuggets that are going to
Yeah.
help build communication and build trust around those things. And like I said, you can go just for the learning experience. Like I have taken people to a sex club. They don't participate with anyone else. Like they just want to do their own thing by themselves, and that's okay. But maybe it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? We enjoy watching porn together. How about we go to a club and watch it in real life?
Yeah.
Maybe that's your thing.
You know.
You don't know. It's there's kind of something for everyone, and there's no obligation to do anything with anyone. People are gonna again um, ask those questions. I have appreciated
Mhm.
when I have gone. The first time I went to a swingers club, I went with someone who was experienced in that area, had been to this particular club multiple times, and really took the time
Okay.
to like walk me through what that experience was going to be like. And so maybe it's finding that person in your life or meeting a couple somewhere else that says like, hey, we go. Every club gives you tours, they walk you through things. But sometimes it's just really nice to have someone that has had that experience and can kind of give
Mhm.
you those ins and outs of what might go on. But
Wait. So I'm so curious what a swingers club looks like. Like, give us a small tour, like a 60-second. You're walking through the club. What are you seeing?
so a lot of them have like a common area. Like I said, they'll have a bar. You can
Okay.
bring your own alcohol in. A lot provide mixers for that. So there's usually that, the bar, a dance floor, just kind of
Okay.
common places to mingle. And
Mhm.
then usually like in another area, another floor, there are different rooms, and it can vary like club to club. I went to the first one I ever went to. It was a naturist spa. So it was an all nude club. People just wore towels.
Interesting.
There was a pool. There was a hot tub room that had several hot tubs. That was kind of your place to mingle and meet people. So all of the clubs have that kind of space. And then there
Okay.
are rooms. So sometimes there's like a dungeon, like a BDSM dungeon kind of thing. A lot of them have like a cinema or a movie room where like porn is playing. There's tons of couches.
Okay.
And then there's private rooms. There are semi-private rooms. There might be a very large group playroom. Some might even just have like an open play area. It can just really
Okay.
depend on the club. The nature spot I went to, they had a like sensory deprivation room where it was completely black. You had no idea who was touching you. You had no idea.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
No
Yeah.
way.
So there's something for everyone, right? And there's different things you
Oh
can
my
experience and
gosh.
not experience.
Link in the show notes.
No.
If you're in London, it's very close to Heathrow.
Oh my gosh. I'm curious too, like what is the age range?
Most are kind of, late 30s, 40s, 50s. Yeah,
Really?
most are kind of in our age group. It's not like super old or super young. It's
Okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
How
a
many?
good mix.
Can I ask how many sex clubs do you or swinger clubs do you think you've been to?
I've like 4. I've been to 4. And mostly when I've traveled.
Okay.
I've actually never been to any locally where I'm at, which is weird.
Okay. Okay.
But most of it has been when I'm traveling. I've either
Mhm.
met someone.
Overseas?
No, I've been to ones like New Orleans, Colorado, overseas. Yeah, I've nothing local, which is weird. I need to
That
do
is
something local.
bizarre. Mhm.
But I mean, literally, they have them everywhere. Just Google. Just
Right.
Yeah.
Google.
Right.
And again, it might
Man,
not be like maybe you're not into swinging. You don't want to sleep with someone
right.
else. You don't want your partner sleeping with someone else. But maybe
Mhm.
you think it's hot to have someone watch you, or maybe you want to
Right.
watch people
Right.
together.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That on its own, like that can be its
Yeah.
own thing to do together. Yeah. And that's certainly we're not like I think just out of this conversation, I hope our listeners are hearing as well. We're not encouraging one way or another. It's simply this is out there. And if this is something that is of interest to you and your partner, you should talk about it and like make it a conversation and say, okay, for our next trip or whatever. Like I get not wanting to go to a sex club or swingers club or something in your neighborhood, in your area, because
It's true.
holy shit, who knows who you're gonna run into. I get wanting to only do that when you go
Mhm.
out. And I've never tried it, but like yeah, to your point, I get that I get some people would want to either be watched or
Mhm.
watch, even if you're not like hooking up
Yeah.
with other
Those are two
people.
very common kinks, right?
Yeah.
Exhibitionist and voyeurism. Two very common things.
Mhm.
And maybe that's something you want to explore together. And that is a safe space to do that.
Boys, any other questions before we wrap up?
I know Remy's been a little quiet. He's
Oh, just
taking it all in.
taking it all in. Now, just any other advice, before we close for the guys, because we are a little slow, but clearly you've learned some things that really work well, and some things. Obviously, it sounds like confidence is a big one from a partner. But is there anything else guys can really lean into that can help us have more success, with our partners and make them feel safer and comfortable, but also increase that turn on factor.
Yeah, I think it's one, knowing your partner, knowing like what she's going through, what she might be feeling, um, and then finding ways to kind of alleviate that. Like I know that was a big problem, and if I don't look at all the issues in my marriage, that was a big
Right.
piece of it. Was not, I didn't like that person, right? Like they didn't do a lot of stuff for me. I felt like my needs weren't being met, and I think that's so true for so many women. And dealing with like the mental load that women have and finding ways to alleviate that. And if she's struggling with that, you can't then ask her, what can I do to help you?
Right.
Like, you are a
Oh, I
grown
see.
ass man. You can see that the dishes need to be done. You can see that the laundry needs to be folded. Like, it's like somehow men get a ring on their finger sometimes and like forget how to live. That was a struggle in my divorce. I'm like, oh, you do know how to do those things. You do. Oh, you can cook. You can cook dinner.
So, guys, take notes. There are certain things that are trigger points, and we want to
Sure.
make sure
Oh,
for
that sounds
your
like a trigger
particular
for
lady,
sure.
what is
Yeah,
that?
find
Yeah.
those things. Find those things. Especially sex for men is much more physical than it is for women. Sex is
Yeah.
so emotional for women. And so it's knowing your partner, knowing where she's struggling, easing those things are gonna make those things easier. And then it's gonna put her in that mindset, like to be a little free and
Well
to
said.
have these discussions maybe. Because she's feeling good. She's feeling good about herself. She had 37 orgasms. Like, she wanted to talk and do whatever you want because you just took care
Brad
of her.
says, challenge accepted.
Oh, you want to go? You want a third? Okay, baby, you make me come 37 times. You can bring whoever you want home. Like, I don't
I
care.
know, right?
I'm
Jeez.
exhausted. Please.
Yeah, tap someone else in.
So yeah, it's again like just having those discussions, being aware, like being aware. I know I struggle, again, emotional trauma. I struggle asking for help. And again, especially of my partner, especially when I was in a relationship where I was constantly told no, or it was made into such a big deal because I asked for something, and then it was like, oh, how dare you ask for that? So it's just, again, a lot of it, I think, for a lot of women, and especially when they have young kids, right? Like, we feel like we're doing a lot, and so any way that you can kind of help with that, I think is important.
That's good advice.
It is.
And I mean,
Brad,
we need to do it for our men too. Men have needs as
I
well.
know.
Men want to be complicated or complimented as well, and thanked as well.
Yeah, yeah. Brad, you've said this before, so I'm just gonna paraphrase, but I feel like you also, I mean, you've probably done some research around the lifestyle swinging thing. Not that you're expecting anything from me, but I think you've heard some about it. But I feel like your the crux of it, from what you've read up on or whatever, has really been the focus on the female. Like, if the female wants to do it, if she thinks that it's a turn on, if she thinks that it's something that will enhance life for her, I think that's so interesting to me, because I feel like the typical myth, I guess, of lifestyle swinging, all of that, is that the guy convinces his woman to have sex with other people, and it becomes, this whole thing that they turn into. But with the huge communication aspect that, Winter, you've been talking about, but then also, like, Brad, I don't know if you have anything interesting anything you want to include here, but it's interesting to me because I feel like I saw it very differently, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I think that's the what everybody sees or hears or thinks about when they hear swinging. They think, oh, well, the guy is, you know, wanting to
Trying
bring
to
another
cheat.
woman
Cheat.
in.
There you
He's
go.
trying,
Yeah.
he's
Cheat.
trying to get away with cheating, right? He's trying to,
Which can
Mhm.
happen.
you know,
Does happen.
Right.
So
Right.
But I think, Addie, you hit that when you said convince the woman. Nothing with
Yeah.
sex, nothing you do with your partner sexually should you need to convince someone.
Yes.
It needs to be
Amen.
completely consensual. And I think a lot of times, again, it goes back to that sometimes when you have all that relationship stuff, it can be really hard to express how you're feeling. And so that partner might say yes, even though it's a no for them, because they're scared to say no and they want to please that person.
Right.
And so if you are feeling you need to convince your partner of something, know that that's a no. That's a no.
Right.
And respect that.
Mhm.
Respect it.
Right.
And we might need to do more. We haven't done a ton of focus on consent, but that's a big concept, what you
Yeah.
just said, in terms of enthusiastic
Oh, yeah.
consent versus, I guess so.
And I will say,
Right.
that is something about the younger guys. The like 20-year-olds are super consensual. Super consensual. In comparison to men in their 40s.
Yeah.
wait, what do you mean by
Yeah,
that?
I have found in dating, the younger guys are looking for that enthusiastic consent, like with everything.
Just like
Enthusiastic
Brad wants
blowjob?
an enthusiastic blowjob. That's
Exactly.
right.
Like they want to. I had a guy and he was like, "I am not taking my pants off until you tell me to take my pants off." Yeah.
What?
Whereas other guys are just like, whoop, like they're getting naked the minute we walk in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And this guy was just like,
Right.
not doing. Yeah, 29-year-old
Hmm.
guy. So yeah, it's very different. But again, it's
Wow.
in the lifestyle stuff. Again, it's very consensual. Like if you are at a club, if you are in an open area, people are going to come watch, right? Like you're inviting people to watch you if you're in an open area. And
Sure.
people are going
Yeah.
to ask, can I touch her? Can I do this? And again, they're asking for
Oh my
permission. They are
gosh.
asking permission and they understand no.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Really?
So, do you have like a lanyard that says "no touchy"?
Oh my God, he loves his lanyards.
Hugs or no hugs.
Got a
I'm a
red
hugger.
lanyard, got a yellow lanyard,
P&V
a green
only,
lanyard.
P&A only. It's got ribbons with the badge.
Like a conference.
But yeah, it's again, people need to ask permission before they do
Yeah.
anything or
Oh my
touch.
gosh, that is so bizarre. That's such a different
But it's how it should
like
be. It's how it should be.
right. No,
Because just because
I
I am doing
absolutely
something
agree.
in front of someone doesn't mean I want you involved in it. Maybe I just want you to
Yeah.
watch. You know,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
because I'm here and I'm engaging in this doesn't give you the right to engage
So
as well.
true. Which honestly, as a married woman, if we were to ever explore this world, which I'm not saying yay or nay, because I right now I don't feel like it's something that we're into, that I'm into. And if Brad truly feels like I'm gonna drive this ship, then
It's never
it's not
happening.
something that will be in our right. At least, like, I don't wanna give him a never, but I'm just gonna give him a not right now. But all that to say, like, I think, that does make me feel more comfortable knowing that it's not what I think most people have in their head as to what that kind of lifestyle looks like, where it's not just you're open for business for whoever. You get that consent, and consent I feel like is such a I feel like it's kind of clinical. It doesn't feel like it's not like a natural thing for me because Brad and I talk so much about things together as it is, and so I don't have to fortunately, it's not something I have to like push for or ask for or what have you. But that I think for any of our listeners who may be thinking that is, they could crack that door open, it at least shows that it's a safe place to explore. It sounds like people are very thoughtful and accommodating and all of that to newbies, and want to make sure that no one feels like they're forced into any of it. Yeah. Oh my goodness, so interesting.
Just another way
Winter.
to experiment within your relationship and explore.
I know.
Winter, I can't believe this is almost 2 hours and we're still learning things from
We
you.
are.
So we'll definitely have to have you back. It's been so educational, and I feel like we could talk a lot more and still learn more. But we appreciate you sharing so much.
Winter, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
We love you.
Guys.
Come
For
back.
sure.
Come back soon. Thank you. And for the rest of you, we hope that you got, some new little tidbits here and there. And we hope that you will chat with your partner and have them listen to these episodes as well. I think it's so interesting, and who knows what kind of conversation will spur from here. So we love you all, and we are wishing you all the very best of your own suburban sex.